which means GSRP program, which means we have to function and operate somewhat like a school. So things have to be documented. Stuff has to be, in your employee files. We have to do stuff like this, trainings and things like that to position ourselves because they have to see a track record of these things before they give us the thumbs up to say, you guys are good. You guys have been operating. Your employees know what's going on. They have documentation of that. So that's why we actually have to do the employee HEMIC. So this is like maybe, I'm going to say about 12 pages. So we're not going to read all 12 pages to you all. We're going to highlight some things. You all will get a copy of this on Monday. And then on the back sheet, there's a sign or a signature page that says you received the employee handbook. You understand. So we'll give you guys time to kind of go over it in full detail. But we'll just kind of highlight some stuff that you guys are already doing, but just things that we know that the state is going to look at. So it's kind of like a refresher. Sometimes there's things that we know that we do that just because over the years we get comfortable, we may get a little laxed in. So it's just kind of like okay, well, let me make sure, it's the beginning of the year. I kind of sharpen it up in this particular area. So we'll kind of highlight some of those things. There's some really good stuff in here as well, some things that are going to be different for you all because we understand that working with children is it's a gift. Not everybody can do it, and not everybody has the ability to do it. So the fact that you guys work in childcare and in particularly work with us, we find that to be something that's very should be honored, and we appreciate you all for it. So again, without going into it, this kind of like to give you a gist of what we're talking about here. Because it's the beginning of the year, you guys want to know, just certain things. I feel like I'm about to go into the meeting, so I'll just wait for Mr. Damon to come back. But yes, it's going to be good. Again, a lot of these things are things that you all already know, already operate in, maybe need to be sharpened on, would be reminded of, or even just new things that will be implemented for everyone. So without further ado, Mr. Damon. Right. I know. We're so churchy. We want to clap every time. We are. We just can't help it.
Here I'm just Mr. Damon. We were about. You can take it off if you get to work. Go ahead. Let me see. No. Oh, okay, yeah. So excited you guys came out. You can cut the music down just a little bit. So excited you guys came out. It's going to be. I'm excited about this year. I don't know. She's sitting down, but I'm gonna stand up. I'm excited about this year because this is a year where we go to a whole nother level, where everything, the mute button is on the computer. Right, well, on the computer, on the actual. Yeah, there we go. Yes, the volume button. Yep. Just turn the volume down. Just okay. All right. Oh yeah, I got you. Okay, let it sing. I got you. All right, all right, all right. The reason why I wanted to meet is we're going to meet more frequently to make sure you guys have everything you need. First of all, I want to start off by saying, man, shout out to y'all. Y'all did a phenomenal job in 2022. Give yourself a hand clap. Come on, praise yourself. Praise yourself. Just did a phenomenal job. Huh? Should we pray? We can't take the pastor out of Lady Sarah. She said, pray. Father, we thank you for this meeting. We thank you for this team. We thank you for all you're doing. Let it be a productive meeting. Let us be successful in life. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen. It's the environment she's in, so she's an autopilot. Once again, you guys did a phenomenal job in 2022. So many things I wanted to highlight. I had this inspiration. How about to say revelation? I had this inspiration to do a quick video for you guys while I was sitting there, and then I got thrown off because I forgot about everything else I was supposed to do. But I will show you some things. I was going to highlight and recap all the things you guys did throughout the year and some of the fun times we had and some of the things like. So I'm still going to show you that, just a portion of it, so you can kind of know how you're impacting lives. I never sat down with you all and talked to you about how you impact lives, and that means everything to me. I don't want you to think you just have a job. You have the potential to change a generation. You have a potential to make a person know what love is, not to have hate, not to deal with racism, how to respect one another, how to be friends with one another. You're changing mentalities where they're being cultivated to be mean, where they're being cultivated to hit each other or start cussing at a young age or slapping, biting each other, where they're establishing their foundation. I hate to say it, you have an opportunity to affect that. So your job is so important. Before they get to school, you can shape them how to be disciplined, how to sit in their seats, how to love one another. And that way, when they go out into the real world, where they won't be able to get that individualized attention that they should deserve, they would have at least a foundation of someone that loved them. One of the things I love about child care is that we're teaching kids how to love each other. I notice, and we kind of break this culture. I notice, like when we come into the room, you notice how the kids like to just run to you random, no matter what they're doing. I love that because our mission statement is where care is expressed with love. Teach them how to respect elders and how to express the love on the inside of them. I know it's kind of sometimes disruptive to the class and the structure, things like that. But we want to teach the kids to express themselves and not to hold that in. That's really what it's all about, and that's why I started the company. Is because we really wanted to change that, and we noticed that. Many don't know we've been in this business for a long time, and we noticed that when we was doing inside of I had a company inside of Texas and several cities inside of Texas, and of course in Michigan and all the high schools in Detroit area, and we ran high school. And what I learned, that I love high school kids as well. Y'all know I'm aggressive and people person, so they learn to love me. And I think I'm still young too, or at least I like to look young. Let me say it that way. And so I had my way with the fellas, and, because I was still y'all laugh too hard at that part. I am young. I had my way with the fellas, especially with sports and things like that. I had my way with the ladies because I still knew the game, what was going on, and was able to cultivate them. So we just had a good time. We were going to schools. We maybe had over 20 schools in Detroit, and we go to the cafeteria, feed the kids, and we have tutors where I would hire the teachers inside the school because I thought that's how it was going to change lives. And then we did it in several states, from Flint to Detroit to Highland Park to everywhere. And we became one of the largest companies inside of Michigan. And when you get large, people start hating on you and things of that nature. And then, them passes, because we was pastors, so them pastors trying to take over, whatever the case may be. So we recognized that was not the necessary way to go. We had to branch out. So we ended up going to Texas, Houston, Dallas, Fort Worth, Arlington, all the cities in Texas doing the same thing, and also in Michigan. So we branched off. Then I discovered that when I was with the kids, because we were growing so rapidly, which is how I attained some of my success. When we was growing so rapidly, the problem was I was getting the kids still too late, meaning they already had the attitudes. They already was, I want to say crazy. They always was interested. They already was in love. Someone was already pregnant, and someone was, you don't understand me. You don't understand what I go through. I'm homeless. I'm new this. I was able to see that it was taking care of the kids already. It was already doing that in high school. It was already ahead of the game, way ahead of the game. So me and Lady Sarah got together and said we got to get them a little younger. So I thought if we start them all the way at the bottom, because we did K through 12 tutoring. We start at the bottom before they even get to school. Maybe we can have an impact that way. And I wanted to partner with people that had the same passion, that be able to love and discipline at the same time, like a balance. Like a balance. You got to have that balance. No love, I tell everybody that I come through my office. No love, no discipline. You know what I'm saying? You can't come off trying to correct somebody that just got in your center and he only been there a week and a half, and you telling him you better you got to cultivate. Spend some time, correct them, and all that good stuff. So that's why you're here today. Of course, a large piece of this is what Lady Sarah's getting ready to get into, which is the handbook, so you understand your rules and what benefits it has for you and what's our expectations of you. And that's going to be the general gist of the meeting. There is a small segment that's going to, before we really dive into it, at around 12:40, where we create opportunities for you guys. So there will be a break where we allow, and I figure out how to make this happen in a second. We allow this young lady. I also put a plan in place called the 401k. If you guys are interested, this young lady is going to give a presentation via Zoom, and it's going to be 10 minutes, she said, and you can opt in or opt out, and she'll tell you about it. You can find yourself if you're interested. What we're trying to establish is that if you want to become this longevity, this opportunity here. That's what it was all about. So you have that, and then the 401k is yours. You can take it wherever you go if that's something you're interested in. But at least you get to hear a professional talk about it, because you have an opportunity to opt out by, I think, the 11th, something whatever. I imagine you can opt out anytime you want to, but their line is the 11th. But you can opt in at any percentage you want: $1, $2, $10, $15, $50, whatever she explains. It's about your future. And what I want to let you know here, we care about your future. And I'll show you some of those things as we get into deeper into the handbook. And that's supposed to happen around about 12:45 or so, something like that. But the general gist before we release Lady Sarah is, oh, I'm sorry. Autopilot for me. All right, Miss Sarah. Miss Sarah, we are who we are. And those who don't know, we're pastors, and this is where we. I've been pastoring now. Whew, no, I've been ministering. Oh, yeah, no, trying to make me old. I've been ministering 20 years. I said to my college 20 years ago. I've only been pastoring 6 months, 7, probably 7 years, probably like 8, maybe 8 years. But I was a pastor. Just so you guys know, I was a pastor. I was a site pastor for my father, and I pastored inside of Southfield, inside of Lawrence Tech University. And I would go into the auditorium and pastor them. And I was there for 6 years. And also, we had members that come in the auditorium, about 300, the seats about 300 people. We was there for 6 years, Lady Sarah and I. And once the pandemic hit, we went back to our main location and we merged, and we stayed there for about 2 years. You guys know what the pandemic is all about. And then when it was time to go back, I said I want to start my own ministry. Then I recognized I already had 2 facilities. I said I want to just start here and save some money and just kind of build and find a neighborhood, get to know. So I started with a whole studio, blah blah blah. Sits in the studio, then turned around, messed around, became a church, a sanctuary, and everything else began to happen. Everything happened so fast. So this year we're believing God to have our own building, and then allowed us to be a whole lot of different things. Where kids can come in and do speeches, where kids can come in and do certain to build their rapport. We can have comedy shows, we have date nights and things of that nature. Some of y'all don't know we've been doing that already. Have comedians come in, have date nights, and have fun. Where you can rent a facility so a person can get married and have the reception on the other side. I'll show you some video of that. We've already been doing that to kind of keep things going and actually keep these doors open because we all know we've been not having the kids we're supposed to have based on the number of employees we get. So I kind of dibble and dabble in a lot of different things. Yet and still, my foundation or our foundation is teaching and loving on people. My whole life is about turning on the light in your life. So if I can help you find a business, if I can help you be a director, if I can help you start a company, if I can help you do anything, that's what I'm all about. Yeah, that's what I'm all about. And that's why I be so locked in. So my lady Sarah told me to explain y'all to me. Those who are members of my church know me. That's why I be so locked in when I come in. And they be like, you probably look like something wrong with Mr. Damon. I'm so locked in trying to make sure you're successful and make sure we keep these doors open and make sure that you don't experience any pressure. If you had one kid, and y'all guys know this, and if you had 2 kids, your check was the same. If you had 3 kids, you were still getting paid. It doesn't matter. Some of y'all been through a whole season. Let's just be honest. Well, you had 1 kid or 2 kids or 3 kids or whatever the case may be, and nothing changed for you. And that's kind of where my passion comes in, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. And we're gonna fix that this year, cause I ain't gonna be worried. I ain't gonna have to use dye this year. So just keep looking young. That's what it's all about. So I'm excited about that. I am very excited now that the kids are coming in. The kids are coming in. Most people's classrooms are overcrowded. Or I know one classroom in particular. I mean, the newest member too, Miss Jessup. That's the crazy part. The newest member is overcrowded already. So we're trying to get some kids out of her class. So I'm excited about where we're going, the direction that we're going, or get her some help, one or the other, already. But just came in, blended in, and that's really what it's all about. Now, you're gonna go over that, right? I can probably get through my notes before the 15 minutes, and then go that last. Okay. And a lot of the details. That's right. Once again, one of the greatest teams I believe in daycare. You guys are unique. Everybody has their moments. We're gonna judge you in our moments. We have our moments. We're like, ooh, Jesus. You're dealing with kids, so you're gonna have them moments. That. And those who don't know, this is Miss Destiny. Give her a hand clap. This is Miss Destiny. She's a part of the team as well. Of course, you guys know a couple other people who are not here today are part of the team. But Miss Destiny is kind of there to help take some of the weight off Miss Sarah and I. Meaning that you make sure that things we forget, like when the states show up on us and we kind of didn't get back to you about your health and safety, we didn't get back to you about your file, or we didn't get back to you about this, that, and the third, or a parent called 5 times trying to sign their kid up. She's here to make sure we cover some of those things. And also, if you can't get to us, you walk to her like, could you let them know, put on their calendar, whatever the case may be, just trying to make sure we cover all gaps, and that's really what it's all about. So I want to start this year. Everybody had a clean slate. Everybody's in good standings with me. I love all y'all. Everybody in good standing. Nobody is in jeopardy of losing their job. Nobody. I mean, everybody is good. There's no problems. I'm happy with everybody. So I just want to let you know that. And I see things. I do dip in on the cameras, and I see you guys doing the best you can. And we're going to try to make sure you're more comfortable this year. Is that all right? That's all about. That's what it was all about. So this meeting in general is about building my team up. Yes, yes. This meeting in general is about building my team up and letting you know I'm there for y'all. What we all about is expressing care with love, and my whole concept is to love the kids, not just the kids. I mean, it's gonna be some kids that are interesting. We all got kids. Sometimes, and when you have kids, you'll have a little more empathy. When you have kids, you recognize, oof, oof, and you can have empathy for other people's kids. And then you imagine having kids, and the parent is not even as wise as you. You know what I'm saying? So you can imagine what that's like trying to be a parent and then still think you still trying to find a date, you still trying to find life, you're still trying to get your business together, and they just dumping them on you, all messed up. Let me get your mic because you're not being recorded. What did you put your mic? Okay, try to turn it back on, and I'll take you off mute. Is it off mute? It's, it, there's no way. Is it? Is it? Yeah. Is it on? Is the bottom on? Yeah, it's on. Very interesting. Okay, no problem. I'll fix this while you hold this mic. That shut me out.
All right. So, as it relates to the hiring process, with you all being hired, it's because we believe there's something inside of you that can handle any child that comes through this door. We all have different gifts and skills. So, some of us are more patient than others. I mean, we're all patient, but some of us have that extra grace of patience. Some of us are more direct and authoritative than others, which is also good because every child is different. So there's a variety of personalities in all of you. That's because we're going to get a variety of kids. You good?
Yeah,
Okay, you didn't break it, did you? There's going to be a variety of kids that come in. So if anybody that we allow, and I'm going to, this is very rare, but there are times when we do tours and we see the personality of the parent and kid, and very, very rare, but there has been times where we just knew that based on our staff and what that child was dealing with, because it was outside of just normal temper tantrum. It was something else. We just felt like at the time we needed more of something a little more. But if you're hired in, it's because you have what it takes to handle whatever kid. Now, it may not be, they may need to get passed on to a different teacher for a moment. I know Center 2 does that a lot. Like, okay, he's having a moment. I'm sending him to this class for a little bit, or so on and so forth. Actually, both centers do that. But we have what it takes to make sure that any child that comes into the building, we can make sure that they get what they need.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, I can. You took me in another direction, but yeah, what she said is 100% true. You got what it take. Really quickly, so I'm gonna highlight this because some things that I've jotted down. I left off by saying, "Oh, we want to love the kids, now judge the kids." It is my objective this year. I should turn this up. It's my objective. Just turn up the one that say PD. It is my objective this year to make sure we have quarterly meetings. Meaning what I mean every 4 months. Some of the things that we're gonna be looking at, meaning one-on-ones, if that makes sense. One-on-ones. The whole concept is to get you to the next level. I want you to be able to go to the next level. It is our desire to open up another center. So I need people to take leads. I need people to take director positions.
Yes.
And these are things you're going to have to apply for. You apply because everyone is all fair game. Just apply. You qualify. You apply. Just apply. It's not a big deal. Just apply.
And the reason we're doing that is because we have an idea of those that are interested in becoming program directors and lead teachers, but we just don't want to assume that no one else wants to. So, and then we don't want to put the burden on if we offered it, like, he offered it, I really don't want it. But, so it's just making it fair across the board.
That's right. That's right. And some of the things that we're going to be looking at, or we're going to be looking at to get us to the next level. And this same meeting is going to happen for all the parents, so you guys know. So I'm going to bring all the daycare parents in. and feed them and love on them. And I will take my time and make a video so they can see what's going on and see how y'all treat them so they can have a better value and appreciation for you guys. So they can see how much fun they're actually having because they don't get to see. Uh, they don't get to see. That's okay. I'll click her in when we're ready. The next thing is that we're gonna have to make sure we're gonna deal with me more focus on our daily schedule. Make sure our daily schedule is important. Make sure we all understand we all on the same page. Obviously, when a director is in place at each site, the ultimate goal is to have a director at each site where Miss Sarah won't have to be the head director. She will be the overseer, but meaning that I mean, it'll be a lot. It's a lot more than just telling your colleagues what to do. It's just kind of be able to talk to parents, kind of be able to talk to the state rep. It's kind of be able to keep the files organized, and then I can go into all the details and make sure things are going the way it's supposed to go. Does that make sense? Keeping people online with daily schedule, meaning that at minimum everybody should be at least doing 2 activities, learning activities, which is different than making. How can I say it? What's the right word for making? Crafts. Ooh, it's a great word. Making crafts. We want them to learn something if they're in the toddlers class. If they're in the mobile infant class, they should be learning something as well. But at minimum, at least 3 days a week, you have some type of learning. Every day learn some type of learning activity. Minimum 3 days sending something home for them to help them work on, so they understand why they're spending the money. That makes sense. They can't see you. Some of the teachers are gone when they're picking up the kids. Some of the teachers are not there when they're dropping off the kids. So oftentimes, and we don't let them in, and we make sure they stay out due to COVID reasons, due to health and safety reasons, due to domestic issues and all that good stuff, and all the things that happen in life. But sometimes you just need a touch to see what's going on the inside. That's what we're going to encourage you guys to capture your own moments with your videos. If you're doing something unique and something in your class, pull out your camera and catch it. So we can use that to have the spirit of excellence or get to that next level where people can see what's happening and value you as an employee, if that makes sense. We're going to be looking at this year. It's going to be very important to make sure we're going to really work towards this. No babies are left alone in the room. We're gonna to get that spirit. We cannot leave babies in the room by ourselves, especially during nap time. We have the more of a problem. We're working on this year. Ultimate goal is to get a floater at every site, one additional employee at every site, which we ain't figured out how to pay for yet. But me and Lady Sarah are working on that because it's gonna be overkill. But it's a problem when someone's going to lunch or something like that. We don't have as much as shortage of a center two because it's a little bit smaller, and we'll explain that a little bit. We want to make sure that when you're gone, that someone's in the room just in case the kid get up. You can't control if the kid is sleepy. You can't control if the kid goes to bed. Things like that. We want to make sure that they're safe. Because that's when they get into stuff. That's when they wake their whole classroom up. That's when they, all type of stuff. Incidents happen. You come back like, what happened to you? What happened to your face? All that good stuff. So we want to kind of prevent that. Nobody in the room by themselves. We have situations. She's called. We have situations where we've been rolled up because we left the kids in the room by themselves. So we want to make sure that doesn't happen in some type of way. So that means we have to figure out how to get that floater available or do our best covering. Like for right now, we float here at Center 2 from one room to the next when someone's gone. Just kind of float to the room because my Miss Izzy don't get here to 3. We will be good, but she don't get here to 3. You know what I'm saying? So since she don't get here to 3, we have a little gap where we really don't have that. But after 3, we solid. But from 8 to whatever 3, we have to fight to make it happen. And that's why you got to have an extra person. It's a little bit harder because if someone gets sick or someone to call in, it's kind of tough because it's only 3. You know what I'm saying? So it kind of makes it hard to make sure things are going. So it's our assignment to make sure things.
But until we hire that person, it is kind of like a system of floating, just kind of covering everybody to make sure, everybody's okay. And we do a good job of that. But it's just something just to be reminded of.
Okay, keep talking. I'm gonna tell her we're gonna go at 1.
Okay. I'm not sure what your
you're
next
good.
point
Oh,
is going to
okay.
be, but
We're good. I'll just say 1 p.m.
okay.
Keep it short. And next thing, we're gonna make sure everyone with the health and safety are doing the health and safety refreshers when that comes about. They haven't put it out yet. I don't think Miss Sarah said they haven't released
We
it.
all did our 2022 refresher,
Yeah,
so that's just in event. Excuse
it
me,
comes up.
2023 comes up. Because we do have, and it's in the employee handbook, every year we're supposed to do 16 hours of professional development. We didn't quite do that last year, but that's okay. It's a new year. So, but that professional development we'll make time for that. Either we have days that we've even put on the calendar where we'll be closed that we'll come in and kind of knock a lot of that stuff out, like we did that one time. But it'll be more things like that.
We should have did this time that way we can make sure everybody's here. And we'll try to schedule meetings somewhere around where we at, or at least while we all together, some type of way, or immediately after work. We kind of create that if it's paid or not, but at least we all together because we want everyone here to experience the culture change, if that makes sense. When there's a change, we don't make sure that what we're gonna try to do. Lessons for the week. You want to those leads and the leads in the if you're in the lead classroom that we at least know that you have something prepared. That way we can get you some supplies, or we get you a book where you can pull off of that you're not doing on your own. A little bit different if you got a baby room like a Miss Charmaine, but at least have a structure of your daily shift, what you're doing if somebody comes in your room, hypothetically to stay next, and just be look all in your business. Something that's posted of motor skills, of what other things that
We
we
will
see.
have the goal, and all of these goals that we're shooting for will be implemented. Some things immediately, but some things definitely by February 1st. The goal is to purchase a curriculum so that it'll just make it easy for you all, so you won't have to. And some of you are very, very creative, and you already kind
We
of
are.
have an idea of what you want to do, and that's completely fine too. But for those who are just like, okay, I just, just kind of give me a springboard. So it'll probably pretty much be a springboard of the curriculum that you can use to set however you want to set your classroom up.
Absolutely. Next, what we're trying to do is we always say there's a minimum of 3 projects going home a week. We were talking about that. Make sure the infant forms, those who have infant and mobile infant, are going home daily. Just kind of right now to circumvent some of the stuff that happened in 2022. Oh, you didn't change my diaper. My baby didn't eat. Why he didn't eat? It'll be noted on there. We had pizza that day. We did this that day. And they ate this, they didn't eat this. That way you kind of have that whole we already had the game. Your baby's diaper did get changed. You're trying to blame me for this. No, the baby got diarrhea. She boo boo and got in the car. We just make sure we have a system in place that makes sure we circumvent people trying to blame you guys, because our first stance whenever we deal with a parent is always that wasn't our staff. That's just kind of how we are. It's like it's
We're
innocent.
team love we
It's
care.
like
So
instant to proving guilty. Now we would hate to be proved guilty, but that's just our approach. You're like, oh, I don't know if that quite happened, but let us look into it, because I know we have this. But it helps if we have documentation to back up what we're seeing. Because that's pretty much what's there. The cameras and stuff like that is not for them; it's for us. It's not for them. You know what I'm saying? So we need documentation. So whatever the case may be, because you want to make sure you're covering each other and yourselves going forward. We're getting a lot of kids now, and it should always been this way, where you be aware if you're a team lead or an assistant. Know your classroom. Is your baby allergic to anything in your classroom? Now, that's our job as a whole, as the leaders of the company, to make sure that we're not sending you snacks with peanut butter, or sending you snacks with this, that, and the third, to even be served out. But if it somehow slipped through the cracks, and what you hear in a minute, you somehow Instacarted some stuff that shouldn't be there, and it messed around in your classroom, you grabbed it, and you didn't forget, or you forgot some type of way. We got to work together. So how we're going to do that is we'll have post-its in the kitchens, and when you're making stuff that you'll see, Johnny in such classroom should not, when you prepare your snacks, should not be getting this, should not be drinking this milk, whatever the case, should not be doing this and that and the third, and that way it kind of helps some of the things get to the next level, if that makes sense. Does that make sense? Stop me if I'm going too fast.
and definitely if you have like some questions of stuff that we talk about, like okay, you talked about this at 12:30, but it's now 1:15. You can definitely just take some notes, and because we definitely want to answer your questions.
Exactly. And making sure sign-in sheets available because we're getting new kids coming in. So if you got 2 new kids in your classroom, in your mind automatically as a lead, hopefully as a director, as we fill these slots, automatically I got 2 kids. Miss Destiny, hopefully we make sure you get them sign-in sheets where we need to be, but also the lead and the director already know. They need to make sure those sheets are there so they can feel a part. We'll let them know now moving forward in the meeting. If you want electronic sign-in, which you guys will be getting this year, trying to sign in, give us 2 weeks to get your code. Don't be knocking down the door, come in with my code. You just got here. You know what I'm saying? So don't be trying to demand and tell us what we do. You got a sign-in sheet. Sign in. So we're going to give us a chance to get you in the system and things of that nature. And I know they're excited. They see it there, and you in the lobby, and another parent is signing in, or another parent, whatever the case may be. You want yours too, which makes sense. But just give us an opportunity, at least a week to 2 weeks to get that, which is going to be done in one day. But I'm just giving us a little time to get it done. But more importantly, they do feel a part when they have their sign-in sheet there. It'd be super cool if we come up with concepts like, we get new people come in the door. We have something posted on the door. Welcome, such and such and such and such and such and such to the Lovely Care family. When that parent comes in, we're so excited to have you here. That's posted for like a week, and then make them feel some type of way when they're coming in. Our whole goal, and I'll get down to the bottom, is to get to the next level, which meaning making improvements around the facility. We get there when we get there. In my notes. Next, I'm making sure emergency contact forms are posted. We want to make sure that happens. What does that mean? In your classrooms, most of you are doing a good job at that, but they're not updated. Meaning every classroom should have their child's name, mama name, and phone number.
The index cards
And
that we
index
already
cards
have.
posted on their wall of every kid. If you got a new kid, your form is outdated. Any event, why is that important? If something happened and we had to exit the building, the only thing you're supposed to grab is them cards. So as we go out the door and we stand out there waiting, whatever case may be, you can call mama and say, let's go. On the flip side is there is a back end. Of course, I have them all in a call them all system so I could call everybody at the same time. But if you had to do it, Customer Free will contact us as well. We can call them all at the same time, but you want to be able to call your parents, and say this is going on, and you have to pick a kid up where we had an emergency. That makes sense. We're going to eliminate the whole concept of, and this doesn't happen often, but just in general because we're two companies in one. We're not going to be leaving work early. This is addressed to some of the team members, meaning that, for example, if your shift is from 8 to 5, you work from 8 to 5. If your class is empty, you have to get approved to leave, meaning like, yeah, it's okay. Just get approval to leave. Okay, we have no choice. And a lot of you do a good job of that. Hey, there's no more kids here. It's 10 minutes left. Can we leave? Because there may be some things that need to be taken care of or need to do, or your kids are gone, but then there's like 15 kids in the other room. You're like, yeah, I'm gone. Good luck. You know what I'm saying? Like this should be a team player. Make sure everyone need what they need and helping each other get to the next level. And we want to create that relationship. And if you don't need any help,
And then, of course, if there's instances where there's just nobody in the building, like Center One closes at 5, and let's just say some miracle happens, everybody's picked up at 4:40. For I don't think that's ever happened. Maybe
no.
back in the beginning, Charmaine, it used to happen, but maybe 4:45. As long as nobody is there. If nobody's there, then yes, even at Center Two, we're gonna work with Caleb. But sometimes, uh, they don't have anyone, or they'll have just literally one kid for 20 minutes.
It's the
Stuff
worst.
like that. But again, these
It's the
new
worst.
systems are going to help rectify that. But if
Yeah.
there's nobody in the building, then that's an obvious.
And you can obviously you send a message, but if you can talk among yourself, if something comes up, whatever, you have to go and that person feel comfortable. But the rule is always supposed to be two people in the building. That is the general
After
rule.
after the second kid.
Yes, after the second kid.
Yes.
The general rule is always supposed to be two people, so you don't want to leave no one alone. One is accountability factor to make sure everything's happening safe. And then you're dealing with parents, everybody snatching under y'all up. You know what I'm saying? I'm out looking for parents and trying to find y'all. So we want to make sure, you guys are all looking out for each other. We're doing good. We'll talk about the PTO bank tonight. That's gonna be the fun part. We all talked about capturing videos. Next big thing as we move into the spirit of excellence is the cleaning. Make sure we continuously keep your rooms clean. It's very important to do that. Meaning, what I mean by that, you should be vacuuming every day. You should be sanitizing your cots and things of that nature. Once a week, you should be sanitizing your toys. That does not mean spray them. I mean sanitize them. Actually wash them. You can spray them during the week. For the other 4 days, you can spray them. But you want to clean them. We want to we them in a time where I don't know what's going on. Sickness and I don't know other type of viruses are going on. But we want to do our best to protect our environment. We want to protect each other. Worst thing is to have one of your colleagues sick, and now you figuring out how to survive with their kids, and trying to keep things going. It's just tough. So we try to keep our. That's why we don't let them in. That's why we don't come into contact with them.
And that's why
Because
when we find out that they're sick, we try to immediately send them home so
yes,
that they
will
don't,
affect everybody and affect you. And this
yeah.
is the reason why we don't let them go to the bathroom. And I know they be sitting there dancing, probably some pretty please. Yeah, we don't really know you like that. We really don't. We use our bathroom. You know what I'm saying? Like we can't see what you're in there doing either. We can't put a camera in the bathroom. We don't know what you're touching, we don't know. So I'm not trying to call the person bad or nasty. I'm just saying we prefer you not to be in the building, and that's why we do that. So we don't make sure we keep the room clean. But I mean that, and also mean you're organized and it looking good. Your kitchen clean. Make sure the counters are clear or empty, and things are put away. Put things away. Trash cans are all empty, even the ones in the bathroom, even the ones in your in this case you don't have any offices, but make sure we're emptying the offices. Toys, we already talked about that. It is our goal. We I hope every center have this. A labeler to label your bins. It is our assignment, and as you'll see at the end, for me to make sure all the bins are fixed and things of that nature. But make sure our bins are labeled. If it's trucks, if it's toys, if it's puzzles, if it's this, that, that. It looks good when things are labeled and things are organized. It is our assignment to buy bins so you can actually take your blankets, then put them in a plastic bag, and then put them in the bin so things can look a little bit better. For presentation purposes, when people walking around and you trying to sell a parent for X amount of dollars and trying to sell them how good the teacher is, it's hard when the teacher's not there and you sell it. So, and there's no kids in the room. So all we got is how good the room look. We don't have the teacher personality. We don't have the multiple kids in there having a whole lot of fun. They can't see whether what type of culture the environment is. So we're selling. It's a hard sell because there's no one here, and so all you have is an environment atmosphere. So we turn the TVs on. We play music. We try to make sure everything look nice, and then we try to use our character and our personality to pitch, because it's probably would be a little bit easier, but we just don't feel comfortable. If you had kids playing, there was creative arts and things are happening, and the teacher was there and they could see things are going on. Like, wow, my kid can get be a part of this. Well, now we're working on the back end when they go into the office. We have videos prepped and pre-played that you can see what was gapping. So we'll take some of them pictures that you guys have been sending us throughout the year and play those for them. Here's a quick 1 minute of what your child would experience and what life like. And here's this pretty teacher right there, and they wave, and we'll do little videos and we'll put it all together and mesh it together, and that they'll have something to look at as a part of Miss Sarah's or one day your presentation. Get there. Go ahead.
Yes.
As a part of your presentation.
Yes.
Hopefully we get out of that bracket. Da 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 da. Oh, I got 7 minutes before this lady keep calling me. Make sure you're being aware of what's going on. So when I'm talking about labeling, because we're talking about that, make sure your bin, your changing table is specific and clear and not messy and not leftover and wipes and stuff from wiping the booty and them from the counter. Make sure there's a tray for Johnny and Jill and their wipes and their makeups, and it has to be labeled. If the state come, they haven't done this in the last couple times they came. They can go to the bins and see if there's labeled a name. They can open up the bins. Don't be mad. They can open up the bins and see if what's in there is labeled.
And the reason for and you kind of hit on it, is that the state does have the right to come in at any time. We're accustomed to them coming in the morning, where most of the time we're sharp on it. But in the afternoon, sometimes we're like, oh, I'll just do it later. I'll get to it later. But they may want to show up at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, which would suck. But it's possible.
Right, because the TV on, we in there chilling. It'd be terrible. Like, oh my goodness, what are you doing here?
Right. But thankfully enough, we've tried to put in measures for that. We can kind of see on the screen or see, we can kind of pick like Santa's here.
Yeah. Everybody knows the code of Santa, but we try to make sure every site have access. And here at Center 1, they have a little computer screen before they go out the door. They can see what's happening. They checking the door before they walk out and expose it, because it's kind of hard to be at the door and then try to run back and tell your crew. You know what I'm saying? It's good if you look at the screen.
Hold on one second.
Because you can't, and you have to let them in. You're not able to walk in right behind you. Can't tell them to wait and nothing like that. But we have it where we can see, and hey, we couldn't come to the door. We was changing a diaper. You know what I'm saying? So we got a chance. You got a good 30 seconds to get your life together. And there's Center 1, of course, the same thing. If it's late in the day and it's an unusual doorbell ring, they do have.
They normally come seriously like around anywhere from 9:30 to like 11:30. Is really like that peak time where they'll come.
Yes. So
after 10, it's kind of like doorbell's ringing. Let me just.
Yeah, because parents supposed to know not to be there. Come after 10 anyway. So you're kind of suspicious to some degree when you're getting these random rings, unless an employee is missing.
Or you order like DoorDash or Instacart or something,
So no, you be aware of your surroundings, be aware of your environment, and make sure your team is aware. Like if something unusual happened, check. Or at least give them a warning. All right, I'm going to the door. I don't just, something so everybody can kind of be on guard. This is loving on one another, preparing these. That's the way we got caught up with you, because we got to the door and we tried to run back, and it's like, we looking kind of crazy, like, so we're trying to warn everybody of what's happening. Other things I want to highlight really quickly is inside the bins, labeling everything. And if there's a general product you're using, that has to be labeled too. Hypothetically, let's say
Vaseline.
Vaseline, or if it's for the
Baby
center,
wipes.
baby wipes, you supposed to technically put every kid in the classroom name on it. That's the rule. I think you can get away with putting the class name on there.
No, you can say community use.
Community use or something
Yeah.
like that, without writing on the name. I feel like it's just way too many names around this thing. Them label all of names on there. But you can specify what it is. Reason being, if you're using it, it's supposed to be in their folder. If that makes sense. So because some parents are funny, you use this particular cream on my baby, now my baby's allergic. They got such and such inside this cream, and you try to use Johnny cream because mama didn't bring no cream. You lucky I'm using cream because you're behind didn't bring no cream. That's so we think we trying to help. We helping you out, but they could complain, or you didn't bring no diapers, so we put such and such diapers. You should have told me that I had no diapers. Don't be putting no Pampers on my baby, and you're supposed to be. And they go all off on a tangent because they think they baby don't wear Pampers, or they allergic to Pampers, and they wear what's the Huggies and all that good stuff. So you get into that. That's what they trying to keep us from falling into. So they make rules behind being organized, being labeled, so there's no confusion for your staff. If your staff is confused, that's your fault as a leader or director of the site. They come after the director, you know what I'm saying? Then the director, falls on us. And that's kind of how it goes. We haven't been really having those problems, but it's good for you to know. You know what I'm saying? And of course, you guys remember the patented rule is the three steps. That's what they're looking for, basic stuff. They here whenever they come for health and safety reasons, and not there to judge how bad. I almost called the kid name. That'd be unfair. How bad Johnny is, and not there to see that Johnny's not listening to you.
And their number one thing that they look for is ratio. That's
Yes.
number one over anything. The second is, are they in a safe environment? Yes. And then the third is like the little small, like 3 steps and stuff like that. Washing hands, they're big on that.
Cleaning products can't be out, and your guys already know these rules, but the cleaning products out on the table, all that good stuff. So that's kind of what they're looking for. They're trying to make sure they're safe and you follow the necessary procedures and things of that nature. We are more monitoring on other things, behavior, organization, putting things in the right place, and that's what they're right. So, moving far as things, please notice if the this is things if things are going broken and we don't know because we haven't been out. And I'll tell you that on the back end of this 1 o'clock meeting while we've been out. But if you see tears in the change of tape, if you see the lights off, one of the lights off in the building, you guys do a good job of letting me know this. If you see something broken, the rubber molding is missing. If you see something going on, that 3 steps are half empty, and none of us know how to put it together or know how to fill it up or do the right ratio, because they can. I can tell you, they can come test your. Don't be mad at them.
Bleach spray.
Your bleach spray. It's supposed to be a certain amount of bleach versus water, and it changed colors based on what they be like. Oh, you got too much bleach. That's a ding. You got too much bleach in here. So things like that. I'll put a pause on this so I can let this lady in, and then we'll go over the benefits and all the rewards going forward. I turn it over to Miss Sarah as I get things set up. We got about 1 minute to get it set up.
Okay, just really quick. Does anybody have any questions? You can take that. Anybody have any questions of anything? Like I said, a lot of this stuff is stuff that you already know, stuff that we already do, but it's just kind of like a refresher so that we can say that we told you, even though we know that we told you. So it's not really much to be too concerned. And then you all may have some creative ideas on how to do things or how you're going to make things better. So it's always just kind of like it's always like that first start, that first I want to change this about my classroom, I want to do this, or I want to increase in this particular area. So it's just giving you that opportunity to do that. Um, I think. Let's see here. Were there any questions? Yeah. Hmm. Yes. Okay, I like that. Yeah. Yes. Okay, that's perfect. Okay. She said, can we do a group me that way if we need to send out just a general message for this, or just so everybody can be aware of me, Mr. Damon and Destiny are in a meeting and we come up with something and she wants to just let you guys know, like starting this week we're gonna do this, or starting next week we're gonna do that. So, yeah, we definitely can create a group me for communication, immediate things, and then we're entering into like the season of the I don't know if we're gonna get any snow, y'all. I mean, I know I shouldn't say that word, that white stuff that comes down, but it's important, in the event that we have to close the center for inclement weather and stuff like that. It's something that you guys want to know immediately. So that kind of stuff would be very beneficial for that. So yes. Any other questions? Very good. Our member, Jessa, is from California, y'all. This is her first time being in Michigan, so she has not experienced, even when we had the little blizzard, she left. So she didn't even experience that. So this will be her first time experiencing the white stuff in Michigan. If we get any, I don't know. We may not get any. So yeah, she did. She kept it away. Hopefully you keep it away. I mean, I wouldn't mind 1 or 2 days, but it can melt after that. So yes, she has to definitely get accustomed to living in Michigan, being from California. Um, Everything that Mr. Damon talked about, like I stated, you guys will get this handbook. We just kind of wanted to, like I said, pull out some things because a lot of stuff you know already. Definitely go over it in detail. And the last page is going to be just a. This is what you'll have to return back to us. That just says that you read it and you understand everything and you're cool with everything. Do you want me to go ahead and while you're doing that, kind of go into that detailed stuff that we're talking about? No. Okay. Okay. Well. Okay. Cool. Bathroom break. Yeah. Potty break. One thing, and this is terrible, and it's okay because one thing Damon and I, Mr. Damon and I, are never, um, because we know that we are working towards getting everything with the spirit of excellence. There are some things that we have fallen short of, and some things that we need to kind of get better at. One of the things I don't think any of you all have experienced a fire drill, right? So, um, it's weird how we just kind of got away from that. I don't know how, but that will be something that will be. We'll first do a training on it in house. We don't have to come separate, and then we will be implementing those because we're actually supposed to do at least 3 fire drills a year. So just kind of seeing how that will be. That's going to be fun. So for our fire, we just stay outside. In the event that it's like inclement weather where it's crazy, we either go to the office here, like their leasing office. Yeah, so we would take our kids there. But kind of like in school, you go outside, you have to stand outside in the cold, unfortunately, until everything gets taken care of. That's the situation. But in the event that we had to be away from outside, like a tornado or something like that, okay, it would be back there.
my social